In the primordial chaos, before heaven and earth were divided, the universe nurtured two vastly different energies, one of prosperity and flourishing, and the other of barrenness and desolation. The energy of prosperity transformed into the sun, moon, and stars, nourishing all things and bringing abundance to the world. Meanwhile, the energy of desolation sank into the abyss of the netherworld, condensing into a being of insatiable hunger and endless plundering. From the moment of its birth, this entity, known as Huang Liao, was burdened with a curse bestowed by the heavenly law to make poverty an inescapable force of balance in the world. It wanders the abyss of the void, its withered eyes gazing upon the human realm, searching for souls whose wealth is unstable and whose fortune is unguarded. As the new year approaches and the tides of fortune shift, Huang Liao tears through the barriers of the underworld on the 6th day of the first lunar month, descending upon the mortal world to cast the curse of poverty upon humanity. As night falls and people remain immersed in the joy of the new year, they fail to notice an invisible shadow creeping closer, shrouded in a tattered black robe and carrying an icy wind that pierces to the bone. Huang Liao drifts silently through the alleys. Each breath he takes siphons the wealth from homes. Each whisper he utters stirs unrest in the hearts of men, making their riches slip away. With a mere grasp of his bony hand, gold tarnishes, silver rusts and grains turn to dust. He is not merely a ghost, he is the very embodiment of poverty itself, greedy, intangible, and omnipresent. If left unchecked, he will consume all prosperity, reducing the mortal world to a barren wasteland. Chapter 1: The Heavenly Curse and the Cycle of Poverty. In the ancient times, when mankind had just emerged, the world was brimming with spiritual energy. People labored diligently, nations flourished, and peace reigned. However, the heavenly law foresaw a terrifying truth. If wealth continued to grow unchecked and everyone became rich, the balance of yin and yang would be disrupted. The cycle of existence would falter, and the natural order would ultimately collapse. Thus, a divine curse was decreed, forging an unbreakable law: the cycle of wealth and poverty. If wealth only increased and never diminished, it would drain the world's life force, causing spirit veins to wither and vitality to decay. There had to be those who bore the burden of poverty to ensure the circulation of wealth and maintain the balance of the world. To enforce this law, the heavens gathered the darkest essence from the abyss and birthed a being to govern poverty and misfortune. Huang Liao, the ghost of destitution, he became the embodiment of the curse and the enforcer of the cycle. In his grasp, he held the decree of devouring wealth, capable of consuming the fortune of mortals, rendering once prosperous households destitute overnight, and reducing thriving merchant caravans to dust in the storms. Every year, on the 6th day of the first lunar month, Huang Liao descends upon the human realm. Bound by the decree of heaven, he seeks out those whose fortune is unstable and whose destiny is unprotected, branding their souls with the mark of poverty, ensuring they struggle with hardship for the rest of the year, unable to escape their fate. Thus, the tradition of Song Chun Ri, Day of Sending Away Poverty, was born, humanity's final act of defiance against the ghost of destitution under the decree of heaven. Chapter 2: The Descent of the Poverty Demon and the Selection of Prey. When the poverty demon, Huang Liao, descends upon the mortal world, the very essence of the land subtly changes. The warm festive atmosphere is gradually replaced by an eerie chill. The moon dims, the stars lose their light, and his withered figure wanders the streets, sniffing out the radiance of wealth hidden in the darkness. For ordinary people, wealth is invisible and intangible. But to Huang Liao, Every person emanates varying degrees of financial energy. Some burn like the scorching sun, while others flicker weakly like a dying candle. Those draped in golden radiance are blessed with great fortune, making Huang Liao hesitant to approach. But those whose financial energy is dim and full of leaks are like rotting flesh, irresistibly drawing his insatiable hunger. Licking his cracked lips, his shadow twists in the night breeze as he inches closer to his prey, the ones destined to be cursed with poverty. First prey, the wasteful wealth leaks, gold turns to ash. If someone indulges in extravagance and waste during the new year, showing no appreciation for their fortune, Huang Liao will sense the cracks in their financial energy. He sees the food they discard before finishing, the gold and silver they carelessly throw away, the wine spilled at lavish feasts. Every wasted item becomes a black chain, entwining their fortune and sealing their future. When Huang Liao approaches, these individuals may notice the lights in their homes flickering, their jewelry losing its luster, and even their money turning to dust in their dreams, slipping through their fingers. From that moment on, their wealth will drain away like water, no matter how they struggle to retain it. Second prey, the arrogant, defying fate. Wealth collapses. Huang Liao despises those who oppress others with their wealth and mock the poor. Their fortune may once have shone brightly, but their arrogance distorts it into a false fortune. Outwardly, their financial energy gleams, but within tiny cracks spread, waiting for the demon's touch to shatter them completely. When Huang Liao sets his eyes upon them, their shadows will blur, and their words filled with scorn will unknowingly invite disaster. Once marked, their businesses will suddenly decline, investments will fail, partners will betray them, and in the worst cases, they may lose everything overnight. For the heavens do not tolerate arrogance. If wealth is not held with gratitude, it becomes an offering for the demon's taking. Third prey, the lazy, stagnant fate. Fortune drained. The new year marks a fresh start, the foundation of prosperity. But some indulge in endless leisure, neglecting progress. They spend their days drinking, gambling, and seeking comfort, believing that wealth will sustain itself without effort. Huang Liao whispers in the night, with a single breath. Their financial glow flickers like a candle in the wind, until it is completely extinguished. From that moment, they will lose their drive, their careers will stagnate, and their money will dwindle. Even when opportunities arise, their laziness will cause them to slip away. Their lives will crumble, and soon, they will be seen by others as the very poverty demons they once ignored. Fourth prey, the rule breakers. Fortune scattered, shadows linger. Huang Liao preys most easily upon households that unknowingly open the door to poverty. From the 1st to the 5th day of the Lunar New Year, people carefully guard their fortune, avoiding sweeping, taking out the trash, or lending money to prevent wealth from escaping. But some ignore these customs. Impatient, they clean their homes before the 5th day, dumping their trash outside, unaware that they are discarding more than dust, but also their still fragile fortune. From that moment, Huang Liao slips in like an unseen shadow, feeding on the wealth they so carelessly threw away. Fifth prey, the greedy. Fortune exhausted, fate reversed. Huang Liao roams the night in search of his final target. Suddenly, he stops, eyes glinting with eerie light. Within a grand mansion, a man kneels before the god of wealth, but his heart is tainted with greed. He does not seek prosperity through hard work, but wishes for riches without effort, attempting to amass wealth through deceitful means. Huang Liao chuckles, his laughter deep and chilling. He extends his skeletal fingers, slowly piercing the man's soul, stripping away his fortune, draining him empty. In the coming year, the man will not only fail to gain wealth, but his greed will lead him into ruin, burdened with debt, endlessly seeking riches yet forever grasping at nothing. Huang Liao senses the leaking wealth within these homes. Like an invisible shadow, he seeps through the cracks of their doors and settles inside. From that moment, they will notice money inexplicably vanishing, career obstacles multiplying, and even family disputes arising over finances. These are the marks of the poverty demon, Huang Liao's curse upon the unworthy. Chapter 3: Humanity's Rebellion, the Battle of Expelling Poverty. Since the heavenly law established the cycle of wealth and poverty, the wretched ghosts of desolation descend upon the mortal realm every year on the 6th day of the first lunar month, seeking out those whose fortunes are flawed. However, humanity is not merely a flock of lambs awaiting slaughter. Since ancient times, sages have uncovered the secrets of the cosmos and passed down the great art of expelling poverty, allowing mortals to resist these shadowy specters and engage in a battle that transcends time. The War of Expelling Poverty. Battle Strategy 1. Breaking the 5th, welcoming the new 6-day lockdown. It is said that if one welcomes the god of wealth on the 5th day of the Lunar New Year, and seals prosperity within the home, with joyous rituals, the wretched ghosts will be left powerless. Thus people hold grand breaking the 5th feasts, consuming foods representing the 5 elements such as rice, flour, beans, meat and vegetables, to symbolize gathering wealth from all elements. They ring bells, beat drums, and set off firecrackers to generate waves of positive energy to deter ghosts from the underworld. On the 6th day, the true battle of sealing poverty takes place, the Expelling Poverty Ritual. Families set up altars, burn incense, and offer sacrifices to deities guarding prosperity. They scatter sulfur, real gar, and black dog's blood at their doorsteps and inscribe mystical seals to ensure that the wretched ghosts cannot enter their homes. Battle Strategy 2. Burning the clothes of poverty, severing the karmic ties. When the wretched ghosts descend, they first seek out those whose fortunes are damaged, and old, tattered belongings serve as their beacons. The ancients discovered that worn-out clothes carried the misfortune and karma of the past year, becoming a medium for these ghosts to attach themselves to people. Thus, on the day of expelling poverty, people burn these old clothes along with paper money, broken shoes, and damaged household items, chanting poverty departs, wealth arrives. Let all misfortunes be erased. Once the ritual is complete, the claws of the wretched ghosts can no longer reach them. Battle Strategy 3. The Banquet of Expelling Poverty, luring ghosts into a trap. The wretched ghosts of desolation are not without weaknesses. They have a fatal flaw. They are greedy for decayed and ruined things. Thus the wise ones devised a strategy of luring poverty with poverty. On the 6th day of the Lunar New Year, people set up a banquet of expelling poverty at the village entrance or city gate, displaying the most broken ceramic bowls, the most damaged oil lamps, the most worn-out shoes, and even spoiled food and cracked rice. As night falls and the ghosts creep in, people gather with willow branches, talismans, and Vagra bells in hand. At the right moment, they shout in unison, "Wretched ghosts, leave at once. Wealth is at our doorstep, you may not enter." They then dispose of the banquet's remains by casting them into a river or burning them to completely sever the ghost's ties to the mortal realm. Legend has it that the wretched ghosts, drawn to the decayed offerings, become engrossed in consuming them until dawn. When the first rays of sunlight break through, The surging yang energy obliterates them, reducing them to nothingness. Battle Strategy 4. The Talisman of Household Sealing. Ultimate Confinement. However, not all wretched ghosts are foolish. Once every 1,000 years a stronger ghost is born, one that cannot be lured by the banquet of expelling poverty, and can even bypass doorways to infiltrate the inner chambers of homes. To counter this threat, cultivators and mystics devised an advanced defense technique, the house sealing talisman array. The most powerful of these talismans is the 6 Yang Prosperity Seal, crafted from sunfire, gold sand, and cinnabar. It must be affixed to the house's entrance at dawn by a person of noble fate to truly seal out the wretched ghosts and secure the family's wealth. Some wealthy families even construct the 6 Harmonies Wealth Guardian Array, using 6 ancient coins, yellow talisman paper, a bagua mirror, and 5 colored threads to weave an impenetrable barrier. If a wretched ghost approaches, the array trembles and glows, sending it back into the abyss. Thus the battle of expelling poverty wages on, ensuring that fortune remains undisturbed, and that the shadows of misfortune are forever sealed away. Chapter 4. The Vengeful Ghost of Poverty and Its Final Destiny. The ghost of poverty, Huang Liu, is not a mere wandering spirit willing to be banished. He is not only the embodiment of destitution, but also the master of greed and misfortune. Every year on the 6th day of the first lunar month, he gathers the sinister energy of his wretched lair, attempting to leave his mark on the human world and find new hosts among those who neglect the ritual of expelling poverty. However, the annual tradition of the Song Kuang expelling poverty ceremony has weakened him over time. Each time he manifests in the mortal realm, he is swiftly driven away, unwilling to accept defeat. Huang Liu began seeking out families who failed to complete the ceremony properly, lurking in their wealth corners as a formless shadow, silently devouring their fortune and prosperity. Those marked by him experience their wealth slipping away like sand through fingers, gold and silver turn to dust, careers suffer devastating setbacks, and homes become shrouded in ominous gloom. At midnight, eerie whispers rustle through the tattered fabric of their old clothes, carried by the wind. This is Huang Liu's mocking voice, ridiculing their negligence. Yet even under the cycle of fate, Huang Liu has a destined end. According to an ancient legend, once in 100 years, a unique opportunity arises. If a person between the 1st and 6th day of the new year acts with unparalleled sincerity, accumulating virtue, helping others, and even selflessly donating their own wealth to the poorest, then they can transcend the cosmic law of the cycle of wealth and poverty. Such a person would not only be immune to the curse of the poverty ghost, but would also attain eternal prosperity in the mortal realm. Chapter 5. Conclusion. For centuries, the battle between humanity and the ghost of poverty has never ceased. Every year on the 6th day of the first lunar month, fortune and misfortune engage in a life and death struggle. Those who faithfully uphold the Songkran ritual secure a year of good luck, while those who neglect it risk being haunted by the poverty ghost, plagued by endless misfortune. However, true wealth is not merely an abundance of gold and silver. It lies in contentment, virtue, and diligence. As the ancient saying goes, to expel poverty is to cleanse the heart. To seek wealth, one must first cultivate virtue. By using Songkran Day as an opportunity to purify the mind and practice kindness, one can not only drive away the poverty ghost, but also attain true and lasting prosperity. On the 6th day of the new year, may you be free from the ghost of poverty, blessed with wealth, and illuminated by fortune's guiding star.